Not every building is built the same. That's why it can be a bit of a challenge to demolish buildings sometimes. Some buildings are tall, some buildings are small, some buildings are wide, some buildings are thin. It all just depends on how the building was built, and that can be a tough challenge when a building is coming down. Imagine for a moment that you have been tasked with removing this building. Let's just give it a random name. In a reference to one of my older videos, we'll call it Pigeon Heights. So you need to demolish Pigeon Heights. How do you do it? You don't really know much about Pigeon Heights and its construction. You know that it was built in the late 60s and you know that there were no construction drawings. You strip the building back to the steel frame. There are 5 different beams going along up and down the building. So using these beams, how do you get this building to fall? But there's a lot of things you must do before you can actually make that happen. Let's have a little look. Before you pull this building down, you have to consider about the local infrastructure in the area. So think of things like motorways, suburbs, shops, all that kind of stuff. So you need to consider that before you consider demolishing the building. Right, so now you know what's around the building. Now it's time to demolish the building, right? Wrong. Before you can do any more work, you have to get professional surveyists inside the building. So there's 2 types of surveys that you need to go through. One is the R&D survey, which stands for not research and development anyway, it stands for refurbishment and demolition. So what that means is you have to send someone in to look for asbestos and other hazardous materials so that you know what you're working with when you're about to pull the building down. Another kind of survey that you might need to take is the dilapidation survey. Now this survey checks the condition of the building, whether it's rotted away or if it's in good condition. This is a really important survey for when you want to pull the building down. You can't demolish the building until you do this survey, because if you don't take this survey and you use the explosives that you think you're going to need for the building, but it turns out that it's a really weak building, well, it's just going to be catastrophic. The building is going to go down with too many explosives needed and debris will be flying everywhere. So before you can demolish the building, you also need to make sure that the results of your surveys are taken into account before you pull the building down. The first step that you need to do is, if you do find hazardous materials inside of the building, you go in there and you take them out. Well, you get professionals to do that because it's very dangerous to do that, so, especially things like asbestos, because that can give you some diseases if you inhale it or something. You just don't want to go near it. So what you have to do is you have to get trained professionals wearing suits to protect them to go in there and take it out. The next thing you're going to want to do is to just take out all the doors and walls and all that inside of the building until it's just the steel skeleton. Now there are many different ways to cause this building to fall into its own footprint. So one of the more popular methods is to have the explosives go off starting on one side and ending on the other. So with a duration of about 3 seconds worth of explosions, what they do is they have it on one side, that all starts first, causing that part of the building to drop before the other side drops, and then they just cave in towards each other. But a favourite of mine is to take out number 2 and number 3 and place high quantities of explosives in those parts of the buildings, just around the bottom of those, and then lower quantities around the base of the building on the other parts, and then you let those bits go off first, causing this part between 2 and 3 to go down, and then the other sides cave in towards it. Both of those methods produce great results, but it would cost a bit less to do the taking out the 2 beams instead of taking them all out with equal quantities of explosives. But let's have a look at demolitions from each one. Both of these demolitions were done by CDI, which are known as one of the best demolition contractors. CDI used the first method to demolish the Trump Plaza Tower. Now, it was quite effective and left quite a neat pile of rubble sitting there. So that's one of the things. It does create a neat pile of rubble, but it costs more. CDI used the second method for this building here. So as you can see, the building all just falls in towards that one part, and it's quite good. Let's say that you're successful and Pigeon Heights collapses. Well done, it's a complete demolition. So this was just a video that I made because I haven't uploaded a video in a while, plus it's something that I'm interested in, which is the whole demolition process. So I just wanted to make a video about how the buildings actually are imploded and the long process that goes up to that period of when the building actually goes down. So yeah, the reason that I've not uploaded a video for a wee while, I've been doing a lot of other stuff during that time, but I'll upload some more videos soon. Bye.